Hello and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. We're your hosts, Sidra and Sidra Owens, and I'm going to be talking with her on why Sidra can't sell more books. Now, what led up to this was I was working on wrestling, building stuff from scratch, trying to get these gaming characters to look right, and I have a whole lot of stuff on my mind. And then it's just like, it just kind of hit me. And I asked her, about marketing, and she was talking about she's done all this stuff with Facebook in the past. 2 years ago, was it, Sidra?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4?
No, not that much. No.
And, I thought it was going to be a ripoff, but it was better than nothing, so give it a try. And nothing came of it. Like, not even the views, no, nothing. So that was a little money wasted. And she tried, what else did you try? Getting the newsletters? Email?
Email marketing, email to everyone I know, sending newsletters for consecutive months. And I know that some of them would read the newsletters, but it didn't bring any traffic to like my Medium or Amazon or anything. I've tried post stuff about my book on Medium, advertisements for free, small excerpts, nothing. People that I know from work and some family have bought the book, but it doesn't go beyond that. I have to beg for reviews. People will read it and I'm like, you just go to Amazon and review it. I have to beg for reviews. Hell, it was one person I gave my second book to. I didn't give her the whole book, but I said, hey, could you read this for me and do a review? She didn't do it. Free book. She didn't do it. While taking time for 3 months to tell me about the other book she's reading that she's paid for.
And that's the type of shiftless-minded people that surround our lives. That's one reason why she can't sell books. That's one massive reason. It's up there like A Haven of Misperdition. You can go to Amazon, read the first 4 chapters for free. If you like it, buy it. It's not even expensive. People will spend $50 to support somebody's Patreon, and all they get is someone to talk at them about nothing that's going to help them or anyone else. Just, yeah, man, this is what you should be mad at, but we're not going to do anything to change it. That is literally what people are paying from $2 to $50 and $100 to here. Just think about that. I can easily tell you what you should be mad at. I can tell you why you should be mad at it. And I can definitely tell you that there's nothing we can do about it. Just you should be upset. And you should be upset with people that's not as upset as you are. That's easy. And I don't think I'm going to get too much money out of that. It takes a certain level of something to get money from that. Maybe some other stuff. Who knows? Maybe I'm playing the game wrong. But Sidra don't do that. Sidra ain't even that type of person. That's why her Wicked Orchard channel isn't doing anything. To her, it's like any social issue out there don't necessarily matter. And if it do matter, then nah. Here's the thing. I am exceedingly antisocial because I don't fit in society anywhere. However, Sidra fits in most of society. I've always wagered that if Sidra could figure why she wouldn't do certain things, then she could figure out why others aren't doing certain other things. Not to say it should be connected wholeheartedly, but there should be some kind of idea, some modicum of, it might be this, I could try that. And when I was mulling around, it hit me to why people can't review what she wrote. Why people don't and won't. It's not just because they're mentally feckless. It's just not because they don't have any hope or anything. And it ain't also just because they don't want a black woman to do good. Because if you really are about that black female power and helping your fellow sister, then certainly wouldn't you want to spread the word of something she's doing that's productive and decent and give you something to do? Mayhap people just don't like reading anymore. Maybe that's it. But the thing that came to my mind is her books are scarier than Stephen King's. That's what I thought. Now, it's an opinion. And when someone has an opinion, it is not something to place stock in. You don't believe it. You don't disbelieve it.
You think about it and consider it.
Yep, it's just right in the middle. Integers is not negative. It's not positive. It's zero. It's right there in the middle. It's an opinion. So, I'm leaning towards that positive that this could be true, or at least true to some extent, somewhere, some degrees, something. Her books are scarier than Stephen King's. I need WD-40. No, because I can hear this chair in my recordings when doing CR Fire Pro.
I know, you told me.
Man, I was sitting there like, oh my goodness, I'm like I'm messing with one of my Transformers. Okay, Stephen King write books, and truthfully, I think, Sidra, you've read what, 3 of them to me? Maybe just 2? I know 1 for sure.
1 for sure, and that.
But his books aren't really scary at all. Like,
it's perspective. The scariness depends upon the individual. That's it. Like go ahead.
Dean Koontz, that book, the rats, or whatever they were.
Yeah, they weren't rats. Can't remember what they were, but they weren't rats. It was something supernatural.
Yeah, no, that was scary.
Yeah, we tried to finish that a couple times. We didn't make it.
So that's a credit to that book. Mm-hmm. That's a credit. But people read Sidra's books and love them. They just won't spread the message. Now, going on what I have experienced in life and what I am observing in life, I think they don't spread the word of Sidra's books because her books are intelligent. People will spread stupidity like a wildfire, but intelligence is hard to hear about. Not only is Sidra books intelligent, but they are the one thing that scares every human being. They are, quote unquote, real. And I say quote unquote because they are fiction based on plausible reality. Now, quitting time, that's scary for dudes. That's scary. They ain't going to, if you are a feminist, if you're one of them third wave feminists that just can't stand men, then that's for you. If you think men are the problem, the patriarch is the problem, the patriarch is after you, and you want some kind of revenge and you want to put them in a place, quitting time is for you. The thing is, it's an intelligent read. It's real. That's the problem. It's nothing. What's happened in the book, lots of females can relate to. The level of revenge, that's a man's nightmare. That is a man's nightmare. I ain't gonna spoil it. A haven amidst perdition, that is fiction, but in truth, it may have actually happened. Law of averages. It may have actually happened. Maybe to not all the situations and to the degrees of said situations, but that is plausible to be real. Some people, because she's done book readings in front of crowds, about what, 3, 4?
4, I think.
Now, anyone in that crowd that was roughly 33 and up, they paid attention. But the students, those that was like in that 25 area and under,
and they were on their phones.
Yeah, they were on their phones. And it was actually a class credit for them. Show up, listen, and you could get extra points and probably skip something I heard their instructor saying.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even do that. So if they can't even sit down and listen to pieces of a chapter and ask questions, imagine how it is to, and look, these kids are no different than any adult at any age. No different. No different. So when they listen to this, now the older ones, when they listen to this, whoo, I saw emotional reactions. That's what I saw. I saw emotional reactions to A Haven Amidst Perdition. And on one of her readings, I didn't go to it, but she said that, and this was the white ladies, wasn't it?
Oh, the book club. Yeah, I went to a book club. One of the ladies that I work with had a book club, and I asked her if they would do my book, and she said yeah. And then they invited me to come out to the book club, and it was cool because it was all white ladies. I was the only black person there. Oh yeah, only black woman. There's no men there.
Yeah.
But it was.
Well, they were not downstairs anyway.
They were drinking wine.
They were probably upstairs recovering,
eating pizza and snack. It was just like a book club you see on TV. And if the author hadn't have been there, they probably wouldn't have talked about the book. They would have been too busy chilling, drinking wine, and eating pizza. I thought that was amusing. But go ahead, Cedric.
So she reads it. She goes over the stuff and all that. And without giving out any names, could you tell the reaction of the crowd?
So they had already read it. So it wasn't a reading. It was just a book club meeting where they asked the author questions they had about the book. And, they had a lot of good questions that I had answers for because I wrote it. One woman asked me if I felt embarrassed about my family reading it because of the sex. And I'm like, no, because they're grown and sex had to take place for them to even get here. So there's no point being ashamed about that. One woman was talking about how, reading it, she felt like this doesn't happen. This couldn't have happened. But she was intelligent enough to realize that outside of her world, this has happened and continues to happen in greater and lesser degrees. And another woman who didn't really ask any questions the whole time until the very end, she was like, I was very critical about this book when I was reading it. She said, but listening to them ask you questions and you answer the questions, I can tell that you've made, specific decisions about why you did what you did in the book. There may be something to it being too real for a lot of people.
It's too adult for adults.
I had a woman that I worked with, and she read it and she enjoyed it. And she said how it was risque. This woman is older than myself, and so I asked her if she'd do a review, and she said that she couldn't do a review because she was a deacon's wife, and she was afraid of what others would think if her name was put to a review of the book. And I said, okay. Because I'm like, it's not that serious, but if it's gonna break your world, I'm not trying to do that, so it's fine. But
whole congregation probably reading worse.
I don't know. I there's some gravity to what you're saying, and I don't want to get around that because that's what I want. That's why I wrote it the way I want it. I want to get a visceral emotional response. If you put it down because you're pissed off, I'm happy. If you pick it back up because you're pissed off but you want to know what happens next, I'm happy. If you're sad, if you're crying, hell, even if you're triggered, I'm like, I did good. I didn't write some tripe that you can read in a day and be like, you know, it was an okay read. I want you to think about it for a while. I want it to stay with you. All the best art and literature does.
When it comes to A Haven Amidst Perdition, what's the worst criticisms you got from it?
This jackhole in the library said that it was too wordy, and that instead of trying to worry about getting my book into the library, I need to worry about improving my craft and go out and try to find some other authors to be mentors who, you know, aren't going to give anybody the time of day if they see a cursory email asking for, you know, opinions or anything like that.
And I'm like, there are playwright manuscripts in the library when it's predominantly speech with a little bit of scenery set up. But this is too wordy. You know, when you want to know what the character is saying, how the character is feeling, how they react. I mean, most books are written for when the few that I skimmed through. When I say skim, I mean like cut through the middle, start at the middle of a chapter and just, what does this paragraph say? Can this paragraph make me wonder what happened beforehand? Now, that's a gamble on interest and disinterest, but usually when the authors set up a scene, they put so much detail, you forget what the subject is. And I gotta say, Sidra doesn't do that. Not even close. You know where you are. You know what's going on. And then you ask yourself, what time period is this? And there are clues throughout it. And this ain't the only book I'm gonna go over. You know, I'm asking her these questions because I want you, the listener, to, if you are someone interested in writing, if you are someone, these are things you're gonna run into. Shiftless, mentally feckless people that are not going to share your work, and if they do, it's going to be in a finite space because most of them are trying to protect their face. I can't be seen consorting with the likes of this type of thing. Oh, what would my friends think?
And for those who have passed on my book, you know, they do the best they can, but you can't control with the people that you share it with. Like I have another coworker who hasn't read my first book, but she read my second one and she loved it, and she was like, I want to get my friends to read it and we can do like a book club like meeting where, you know, they talk to you. Unfortunately, it's COVID, so they have to restructure how that would come about. And she was even able to get her friends to buy the book. They just didn't fucking read it. And she was all apologetic. I'm like, it's not on you. You can't make them do anything.
You can lead a horse to water.
Yeah. My mom has shared the book with friends of hers, and some of them have bought it. I couldn't tell you if they like it or not. I ain't heard. No reviews. Nada. Nothing. Zilch. Bupkis. I don't know.
How you gonna call yourself somebody's friend if you're not gonna do something friendly? It's like, what? Read this. Did you like it? Why'd you like it? Do you advertise? Would you recommend others reading it? How hard is that? It's the Bucho effect. Seriously, it's that simple. It's that simple. Like, it's a review. That's what it is for. It's so simple. A Haven Amidst Perdition isn't even close to the debauchery that Sidra has written previously.
Nope.
There's one she hasn't released.
Shoot, there's two.
No, I'm talking about Miseducation.
Yeah, I'm talking about the fulfilling.
I say Miseducation is worse.
Okay.
The reason I say it is because it don't end.
It don't.
It don't.
It don't end in the other way either. You just haven't heard it in a long time. You just haven't heard it in a long time.
Is that the one with the goat men?
Yes.
It ain't got nothing on Miseducation. Nothing. It's got nothing on that.
Right.
Nothing. It's not even close. It tries to catch it. It can't catch it. It can't catch it. It couldn't catch a cold. It couldn't catch COVID in a Republican rally. It can't come close to Miseducation.
I think maybe because a lot of those borderline on disturbing.
Miseducation, if you like to read about sex, Miseducation will mess you up. It don't end. Literally, it don't end, but the story in it is so damn captivating.
And it's not just sex for the sake of sex. When the
No,
sex
it's
takes
not,
place,
but man, I thought it was at a point.
when the sex takes place, it does drive the story.
That's the part that actually pissed me off the most. I was like, why you gotta be writing about this again and again and again? And then I was like, but damn it, you wouldn't know anything that's going on if it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, good, because there was negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that took place. And I mean, oh my goodness. Thinking back on it, because I've listened to these manuscripts quite a few times, and I can listen to them again. Miseducation is the one that kind of, yeah, that Sidra got one of her fantasies out in that.
What?
I ain't gonna say which. I'm not gonna say who those two were. I'm just saying you need to edit it and get it put out there. I think you haven't put that out there for the same reason the wife of a deacon didn't want to do a review.
So I was gonna put them out in order of completion, but then I kept reading. Folks love a series, so I got one that's a series, the 2-novel series that I was trying to get the second one in the series out there, but it just hadn't happened yet. I had to do the rounds and the rounds and the rounds of editing, and I can't divide my brain between fiction and nonfiction in school, so yeah.
Okay.
That's why, because I was trying to do the series first. But you got a point. You got a point there.
Mm-hmm. Because you can release it. I think you've edited all to be gotten hell. What you scared for?
I ain't scared. Excuse me. I ain't scared.
Now, the other one. I don't know why it's not flashing up on the screen here. I know I got the thing. Oh my goodness, this is ticking me off. In any case, the other one is Wildflowers. That one, that's one of the most hard-hitting books she's written. I ain't gonna lie. I would love to see it as a movie.
That's what a friend of mine said. She said she could see it as a Netflix series. I was like, damn, really? That was flattering.
I'm serious. Now, here's the problem. They're going to have to change numbers of age in it.
Yeah.
They're going to have to change the age numbers. Sidra likes to empower females in her books. And I've never had a problem with it because I like a woman with power.
I like to empower young females too, because you have, women 14 to 50 that don't know their cooch from a hole in the wall. But
literally, they go to the hole in the wall and be like, should this feel good in me?
But you also have females 14 to 50 and they got their shit together. And there are plenty of females who will forcibly have their shit together at a young age because they don't have anybody else to rely on but them. They are shaped, they are molded due to trial by fire, by trauma, where you got to make it or else. And so those are the kind of females that I try to write. But in our day and age, it's think of the children.
Those people that no one thinks about.
They can't, they aren't capable of making a decision until they turn the magic number of 18. Then they can make all the decisions, which is complete and total bullshit and a whole other post altogether. But, if you think back to not that long ago, if you weren't 14 and having kids, you were raising your siblings. And there was no video games. There was no YouTube and shit to occupy your time. There was kickball, kick the can, mind these kids, cook this meal. Because, I got to mind these kids, or I got to work, or there's no other adult in the house. There were responsibilities that had to be maintained for the home to be maintained.
Are you 14? You ain't got a job? What's your problem?
Yeah, to contribute to the house, and it's not like now where your parents are doing well, and it's like you need to work or get a job or get out of here. No, it was we need you to work because we need to keep our heads above water.
And it was the word need, not do this because I say so, or do this because some self-pride crap thing.
And
if
you didn't have a job, you were going to school, but you were raising siblings, or you were cooking meals, or you were cleaning house. Shit. And it's not like mom and dad was sitting up, in the lap of luxury in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. No, they were working too. Those are the kind of teenage females that I write. I just usually put them in the modern age.
And they be kicking ass. But granted, everyone out there can tell you, the modern age, young people couldn't even achieve 1/8% of what you've written.
Yeah.
Which is why it's fiction.
But the only way is if they have undergone tremendous stress and damage, and it's fucked up, but that's true. Yep. Those who realize, they don't want to sacrifice themselves, but if they're going to survive, they got to rely on themselves because there isn't anybody else. And it sucks, but that's just so true for so many.
And sometimes they got people around them, but yet there's no one around them.
Yeah.
You can have a house full of people, but no one gives a damn to talk to you, bother with you, or nothing until they want to get something out of you. And even then, they don't even see you as you. They see you as an extension of their arm to get what they want.
As a tool.
So she empowers females to be more than someone's tool. Sexual or non-sexual, and that I think that's why people can't read her books, because it puts them into scope of reality where they can't be in their bubbles. Like she said earlier, they are literally forced to have a reaction, a thought. They can't just read and say, oh, look at her, she's just so beautiful and so happy, and she found her prince. Oh no, there's a scandal. This other man likes her, and she's taken with him too after time. What happens if her man finds out? And then the scandal keeps going, and then the secrets and other stuff. And then at the end, the right couple finds each other and they're happy. The scandal was nullified and everyone can go on with their lives. That's what people want. Stupid, boring, cookie cutter, absolute mindless fantasy. That's what they want. Sidra doesn't give. Matter of fact, what Sidra writes has no genre.
Nope. I'm about to figure out my own genre. I've been working on that back in my head for a while. I haven't nailed it down yet.
Sidra's new genre should be scare a motherfucker. Fictional horror. So I don't know, something silly, I suppose. I don't know. But listening to I'm telling you, get lost in it. And there are people out there they're gonna write their books, they're gonna edit them. Like 50 Shades of Grey. That book was written and not edited and not thought of. It was written, yay, I'm done. Hey, can you put all this in a nice little book form? Sure. Don't edit it, just get it out there. Because it's a horrific read that made millions and a movie made from it, and that's a damn crime. 50 Shades of Grey ain't got shit on anything that I have written.
I read a little bit of it and I was like,
It was something like chocolate or something like that. Like the fuck?
What? You wrote it. What the hell was it? You can't use words better than that to explain what it was? Stop typing.
Yeah. It's I don't know what to do to help Sidra market her novels. She's got, what are you on, 8 now?
Yeah.
A solid 7, but working on 8?
Yeah, I finished 7. I finished 7 this past summer. I'm working on 8.
I'm telling you, what was the first one? Because the one you're working on, Rough Side or Ride or Die?
No, that's done.
Yeah, that's done. And you're doing the sequel now?
The sequel to that is done. It just doesn't have a title.
No title. So man, why title it? No, if you did title it, nobody would read it because it's too fabulous for them.
It's too fabulous. Dimmer switches.
Roger Smith. I know we sound arrogant. I know that, but you know what? Read A Haven of Misperdition.
I mean, really, if you think we're bullshitting, read it and then tell us what you think. The links will be in the description.
They always are. Quitting time. That's short.
Yeah, it's like 30 pages, something like that. It's a short story.
Yeah. And there is an audio of it. There's an audio of it. There are people that will read stupid and spread it. But if they read intelligence, it's like,
their brain hurts or something.
These words actually make sense, and I actually have to read them to understand what's going on. Interesting. How do I compute this? I cannot. I will resort to my default. A yuck. I am really picking on so many people because it's been too long. And there are other artists out there. And I mean artists, people that are writing novels, black novels, Latin novels, Asian novels. They are out there. They're getting written, but nobody of their own or other cares to spread the message. If it's not somebody that's already super established, then nobody cares. It's no different than politics. And but there's no way to play politics with this. Man, I would love to get Stephen King to read A Haven of Misperdition, because if he's the master of horror, this book right here, honestly, I've listened to Stephen King's books. Sidra read, and she remembers, and all, and I'm like, I've never felt concerned. I'm intrigued to what's going to happen, but I'm never on the edge of my seat. I don't feel invested.
Yeah, and as I said, it all comes from the perspective of the reader, because I've talked to a woman who read Cujo and she had to put it down, and I read Cujo and I was like, man, okay. It wasn't even mad. I mean, it was very, very much enjoyable because he tells a lot of story from the dog's point of view, who is going to a descent into madness because of rabies. I think that's unique, but the
movie didn't do justice.
The movie didn't do justice, and they never do. They
wanted to do another movie, but they said it'd be too much of a budget or something like that. And then COVID hit, and someone said, "Don't replace the original, or we will kill you." And it's like, what?
The original is Happily Ever After,
and the book ain't.
The book ain't. A lot of his books ain't Happily Ever After,
which is the draw of Stephen King.
Don't end Happily Ever After.
Like Simon Whistler, I think with Business Blaze he was doing. I think it was Business Blaze. He's got like 8 or 9 channels. He talked about Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, and while she slept, I think he said like one of the princes, they took sexual advantage of her.
Oh, in the original story?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And did some other stuff, and think she got pregnant or something. Not sure, but definitely took advantage of her while she slept. And it's like, well, damn. I want to know what the original story is.
Yeah,
because
really.
that stuff gets kind of
lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
When Disney gets a hold of something, that's it. That's it. It's all Disney-fied and
like
happily ever after.
Red Riding Hood, I think initially didn't make it. Hansel and Gretel. Hansel.
Yeah.
Didn't make it. Rapunzel.
And think about it, Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf ate grandma, right? But every time you see it in the cartoon, the hunter comes and cuts open the wolf and pulls grandma out. If that wolf ate grandma, there ain't nothing to pull out.
I mean, meat pieces.
Yeah.
Blood. Bones.
And she certainly ain't finna get up and make you some cookies because she's done.
People want that. I find it easy to write super happy stuff, but also feels like that insults not just my, but someone else's intelligence. Because you want super happy, watch cartoons. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I watch cartoons. I watch anime and stuff, whenever I get a chance or feel like it. Man, I'm going to be busy. I got to do a lot for wrestling. There's shit I forgot to do. But but still, if y'all out there know a way to market and not break your bank, and I ain't talking about middle class break your bank. I'm talking about you make $19,000 a year, don't break the bank. If you know anyway, because look, if we were mega popular, if we had a massive following, I would have no problem. Somebody had a short manuscript, and I'm like, I read the first 4, chapters, and I got to say, kind of hooked. Y'all ought to check it out. I don't have a problem doing that. I'm not a reader. I'll probably get into maybe 4 or 5 lines, and I'm like, well, time to go to sleep. It ain't that the book is boring. No, I don't have reader's eyes. So I'm like, line 1, cool. Line 2, what? Line 2 again. Line 2 one more time. All right, line 3. Let's go back to number 2. I forgot what happened. Okay, line 3. Okay, 4. Yeah. There we go. As usually, because usually I'm trying to decipher what. I'm like, why are these words switched? And then it's got to unswitch. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, why is this word faded, but this word isn't? And then I'm like, okay, that's what this word is. Okay, then that's usually. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm just gonna hurt my brain, and I'm gonna tear up my eyes. So I'm just gonna skip all this. But I need to get Wildflowers back up. I don't know why it's gone. It's just going from a Haven to no, it's Wildflowers. Okay, Wildflowers up here. I must have it on random. That must be what it is. I was like, wait a minute, I saw Wildflowers. Okay. I would like for Sidra to be able to sell more books. She put a lot of work in. She did a lot of research.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would honestly say the fact that her books aren't selling is not pushing her to get the other ones out. I know usually how Sidra thinks, which is, I would push the others, but I ain't even sold these. And the ones I sold it to, like literally, if everyone did a review somewhere that has bought or was given the book, if they did a review, it's like planting seeds, and nobody's helping farm. That's the problem. How long did it take you to write A Haven Amidst Perdition?
Maybe 9 months.
And about how long to edit?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that was that.
That was a long time. I read and reread and reread and edited over. I can't remember. I don't know how many times, because every time I read it, so I would write it, and then I would read a chapter to you, and I would edit. And then I think I read the whole book to you again and edited, and then I read the book to our friend Nevada and edited, and then I read it again when it was time to edit, and I edited, and I sat and read that book. I don't know.
I have heard
times.
it. I think I heard it 13 times. No, too much. 8. I think it was 8 times I've heard that book. And here's the thing. After the second time I listened to her read this, I honestly got it confused for an actual movie that I saw. Because I was talking about the book as if I watched a movie. And I didn't say it, but it almost came out of my mouth. I felt slightly stupid because we was talking about it and we've got our own inside jokes dealing with the book. And I'm about to say, man, when was that movie made? I was about to ask that. What year was that movie? I know we've seen it. I just don't know where we saw it. That's where I was. I know we've seen it, but when? Where were we? Like, what? And it's like, oh crap, it's a book. Okay. So for anyone out there that's like, well, y'all just trying to get book sales and all this other stuff. Right here, no, we're not. No. We tried for the better part of 3 years to get a damn book sale. To get it recognized. So this ain't that. This is letting you know, hey, we've gone through things. Maybe you can help us. Maybe through hearing these tales and whatnot, we have helped you. That's the idea.
Yeah, it would be nice if you got any tips.
Got any tips? Got any tips? What? Man, you more straight than the Julian salad. Give me that goddamn map, some bitch.
If you got any tips, we would appreciate it. It would be most helpful.
Yeah, we trying to come up.
We trying to come up.
Oh man, if y'all know what that movie is, then y'all get an e-cookie.
And see, here's what it boils down to. Okay, everybody would like to make a whole lot of money. Okay, fine. But more than that, listen to me. More than that, I want people to read the story and feel the way I feel about the characters. Or feel the way I feel about the story. Or feel anyway, but I want them to be enjoyed. I didn't write them to be like, I'm finna make some fortune. It's gonna be a movie. No. If that happened, it would be great. But that's not the intent. The intent is for people to enjoy the stories that I write.
Basically, what really made me respect, and I know this no one's really gonna, but this is for wrestling, Rob Van Dam. What made me, you know what I'm gonna say. But he said, I just want to be respected for my talent. That's what I want. I want Sidra to be respected for her talent. She did a lot of work for this. A lot of people do grand research just for a nonfiction. She treated the fiction like those people would treat a nonfiction. She did research. She harkened back to multiple old time movies she's seen. She's harkened back to the books she's heard of and or read. She's harkened back to the tales, the short glimpses of the past that those that are older than us regaled us with.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be blanket and not get too deep and personal.
Yeah.
We don't need a crying session right now.
No, we don't.
So hearing that, And then seeing all these things that's happened, it goes into it. Time period, music, the style of area, the getting on with the getting on, and all this other stuff. The verbiage used at key moments. You know, the hero's journey is definitely a part of at least a haven amidst perdition.
Yeah.
You know, some are just, look, we done turned straight badass. And some is like, nah, you're going to catch an ass whooping throughout, but you're going to come out like a bed of roses, man. Ish. Ish. You know, some is like how you go from small whelp to a queen. You know, not like a king and queen, but, you know, just being that awesome. There's a lot. There's a lot. And I would really love the world to hear these original, unique manuscripts, because everybody else is. Sometimes you read the stuff and it's like, this book's starting to sound like the other one. This cover piece sounds like the other one. Why is the cover of this book looking like the other 25 from 45 different people? Why is everyone using the same type of cover?
Yeah.
Why are the titles almost similar? You know, guns and bitches. Bitches and guns. You know, guns on the west side. Guns on the east side, but not from the west. I'm just making up some shit. But still, you know, so look, we're going to get up out of here, all right? It's been Cedric and Sidra for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.